I'm going to welcome you in. And we're going to build an awesome charcuterie board, a Spanish meat lovers charcuterie board. I'm also going to give you tips on how to build any kind of amazing snack board that you want. So come on in, follow me, welcome, go Pards. First, I'll give you a short tour. I want everybody to say hello to James Beard over here, who he kind of watches over everything that culinary that happens here in the space. There's Lisa Grant, everybody. Say hi to LG, as we call her. We called her LG, by the way. Some of you might know me as Squid, just so you're not confused. Kathleen Squires and Squid are one and the same person. Gonna come on in. Here we have a little movie poster of the film I made with fellow Pard, Beth Federici. You could catch it on American Masters, on PBS, PBS Plus, iTunes, and I believe Amazon. So come on in and, oh, there's a big dining table. We've had actually a couple of Pard parties here right before pandemic. I see some people who attended, Ellen Nita, Andrea Solberg. We had an awesome time that night. It was right before pandemic. And I'm hoping that now, hopefully that we're coming out of this, we're gonna have a lot more wonderful private Pard party events. Maybe we'll even watch Lafayette beat Lehigh this year, who knows? Thank you. Welcome to my kitchen. I'm going to, oh, look at that, just for the occasion. But I'm gonna put on an apron and Lisa's gonna close the door and we're gonna get started. So as Janine mentioned, I do a lot of writing for the Wall Street Journal in their weekend section, the off-duty section. And I recently published a story about making, we called it the art of the snack. And what it did was chronicle the history of the fancy snack and fancy snacking and walk people through making different types of snack boards. Making snack boards, charcuterie boards became such a big pandemic hobby. Why? Well, we needed something to do with our time, right? But also we got tired of cooking, I think, to cooking at home when we couldn't go to restaurants. So it was just great to just put together something that the whole family or you yourself could graze on all day long. So that's what we're gonna focus on today. Is everybody ready to begin? I hope so. First things first, before anything, wash your hands. I'm gonna do that right now. You might even wear some kitchen gloves because, you know, we don't need a pandemic to tell us we need to wash our hands in the kitchen. But also, we're going to be touching a lot of kind of, you know, oily chorizo, cheese, that kind of stuff. So let's just make sure we have clean hands. And because of some of the things that we'll be handling today, it's always a good idea to have a nice clean towel with you. In terms of other tools, first things first, it's a snack board. So you need a board. And these could be anything as long as it's flat. I chose for today, you'll see on the camera over here, I chose a nice rustic wooden cutting board because I think it really fits for the theme of the day. But you don't have to use cutting board. You can use, here's something that's kind of popular. You can use a slate, something bigger than this, slate for a nice natural look. And doesn't have to be square either. You can use platters of any shape or size. You know what else makes a great board? Sheet pans. If you have a nice looking sheet pan, I know some of them like made in, they make them in colors. You could even use a sheet pan. And then you could even use butcher paper. A roll of butcher paper, this is the best thing, right? You put it down on a dining table, you make it, customize the size, whatever you want. You cut it to whatever size you want. You build right on the paper. Get this, when it comes time to clean up, you just pick it up, crumple it, and throw it away. Easy cleanup. So that's another nice thing you can do in terms of a board. So now the next thing you're gonna need, you've chosen your board, are ramekins. So we're gonna use 3. We have 2 larger ones. I think these are around 4 ounces or so, and 1 smaller one, about 2 ounces. Now the ramekins are for anything that's marinated, drippy, liquidy, anything that you want to be contained and not spilling all over the board. That's what you're going to use your ramekins for. Next, obviously, a nice sharp knife for slicing your cheese, chorizo, and everything. A bread knife if you're going to include bread alongside your charcuterie board. That's also a must. Now for the ramekins, you're going to want, if you have a honey stick, they're so cute and they make nice for presentation. Sometimes they're rounded and they have grooves in them. This one is a nice little honey stick, but if you don't have one, don't panic. Just use a little baby spoon like this or any spoon, not a big lump. For anything spreadable that you have, nice little spreader knife works well. Then of course, tongs. If you don't want everybody's hands all over everything, tongs for serving meat. And then you have a couple of extras. We're building a Spanish charcuterie board, and this is the cutest thing ever. It's a 3-legged pig, which in Spain, is good luck. And they use this as a vessel for toothpicks. So those are great for stabbing pieces of chorizo, olives, anything. So that's a nice little thing to add to your board. And then finally, if you have olives that happen to have pits in them, you'll want a little dish for your guests to discard the pits. So those are our tools. Okay, time for our ingredients. I hope you all went shopping. And if you couldn't find everything, it's okay. Listen, improvising is part of the fun of making a really great snack board. So what I'm going to do tonight is make, as I said, this Spanish meat lovers charcuterie board. And I'm going to start, oh, here we go. First things first, star of the show, chorizo. We have chorizo. And I would ask if you could start now to slice them up into, what is this, 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 an inch? Just slice them up into nice little rounds. Now, I would be slicing with you, but I'm not really great at doing 2 things at once and talking and cutting, and I don't want this to become a blood and gore fest or no trips to the emergency room tonight. That's not entertaining. So get started cutting on your chorizo into nice little rounds. And listen, cut as much as you can. If you have too much, no big deal, because you're going to be serving this. And you know what? Some of these things are going to go fast. So it's great to have some on reserve so you can just really refill them and rebuild as the evening goes on. So that's your chorizo. Okay, this is, as I said, meat lovers. We have lots of fatty meats, fatty, salty meats. The next one is Serrano ham. Lovely, nice, kind of salty, thinly sliced. And you know what? Go for the pre-sliced. Who in their home has a deli quality meat slicer? Not many of you, I'll bet. I don't. So get pre-sliced, just makes your life easier. Serrano ham. Then our third meat on the board is this amazing, slightly spicy sopressata. Now, it's not sopressata like the Italian dry cured meat. This is a spreadable sausage, and it's so delicious, and it's really fun to spread on bread rounds, to dip things into. Delicious. Okay, so those are our meats. They're the stars of the show here. Our co-star here is Manchego cheese. And I wanted to mention about the meats that I chose those three because they're three very different types of Spanish cured meats. You have the spreadable, you've got the serrano, which is kind of really deep and rich, and then the chorizo, which is spicy and salty. So you have a nice variety of what you can expect from flavors there. So if you're done slicing your chorizo, go ahead and start slicing your manchego cheese. So easy. It's a triangle wedge. Just cut them into little slices of triangle. Manchego cheese is my favorite cheese in the world. It's a sheep's milk cheese from Spain. And what I chose for this particular board is young manchego, because young manchego tends to be milder than aged manchego. Aged manchego is very salty and not quite as soft. So it's not a soft cheese, but it has give. It's nice integrity to it. And you don't want your cheese to be fighting with the meats on the board. So young manchego, very creamy, not as salty, and it makes a nice complement to the meats that you have on the board. Okay, so we have our stars, the meats, we have our co-star, the cheese. The next thing to add nice variety and texture, crunchies, crunchy things. So we have Marcona almonds. These are also from Spain. You can kind of see them. They're rounder than your standard everyday almonds. They're also softer. They have a buttery flavor, and they're a really nice counterpoint to what's going on here. Now for your other crunchies, these are my favorite. They are called picos in Spain. Look at them, how adorable. They're these little bread sticks that are baked in oil. They're super crunchy. They look like baby baguettes, and they're even crunchier than your Marcona almonds. So they add another layer of texture to your board. After our crunchies, we have what I call your Sharpies. I'm not talking about the magic markers. I'm talking about kind of pickled things that add a nice counterpoint to what's going on, because you have your crunchy, you have your salty, now you've got nice pickled. I chose these Basque peppers, which are sharp, but slightly sweet. They're really wonderful. And then look, they're gonna add beautiful color to the board as well. The other Sharpie are these big, fat, beautiful, they're called Gordal olives. Gorda means fat in Spanish. They're meaty, they're delicious, and they're a wonderful palate cleanser. So they also add a nice sharpness to your plate. So what's next? We need a sweet element. So for that, we have some beautiful honey. I chose a honey from Valencia just to keep with the theme of the Spanish board. And this one has a beautiful touch of orange citrus. So that's gonna add a lovely sweet element that's gonna really bring together the salty, the crunchy, the pickled. Honey is a great item on a board. Another great item actually that you can use on a board are marmalades. Any of that kind of a fruity sweet thing makes a great addition. And then last, I always like to add a fresh garnish, something that adds nice color and freshness to the board. Fresh herbs work really well. I chose basil, but any beautiful fresh herb works. I've seen people use edible flowers, which make a beautiful, picturesque addition to the board. So that's our last ingredient. And if you are all ready, and if you have all washed your hands, we're gonna get started on building. So while we do that, I'm gonna switch off my video and focus on the board. How many people are going to a reunion out there? I'll be there. Lisa will be there. Yeah, we can't wait. All right, it's time to build. So what we're gonna do is build this board and then take a step back to analyze what we've done. You know, sometimes I think of this building a board as a architecture or art or even, gosh, how do I explain it? Landscape. And in terms of landscape, think of what you find on the landscape. But anyway, first things first. We have your board ready. The first thing you're going to do is place your empty ramekins on the board. Now, I like to think about, as I said, I think about this as art. I think about what's happening visually. And even sometimes before I start making a board, I will sketch it out. I mean, here's my rudimentary sketch of this one, but it's a good thing to do. And, you know, something like this, if you can see it, not very interesting, right? 3 things in a row like that. What I like to do is mix it up a little bit. So I'm going to put the small ramekin here. I'm going to put another ramekin here. I'm going to put another ramekin here. I hope you all can see it on the board.
Can I interrupt? Are we supposed to be seeing this on the video? Because all we see is Wall Street Journal.
Janine, do we have this other spotlight on?
I can see both.
I can see both.
Yeah, there should be
I
2 cameras.
I can see both.
I see both.
Okay. Yeah,
You
so
might have
there's
to
one
change
of
your
me
view.
working my hands. Can you see my hands?
Yeah, you should be able to see both.
I see it now. Thank you.
Okay, great. Awesome. So we're placing our ramekins, our empty ramekins on the board, and we're going to build around this. So what did we say was the star of the show? Chorizo. And in terms of landscaping, I'm going to build a chorizo river. And to do that, it's just easy. Start placing your chorizo, kind of starting on the upper left, one on top of the other, just like this. And if you think about a river, they're never a straight line. They kind of wind through different landscapes. So have it curve, do whatever you want with it. And just build it like this, one on top of another. Easy to do. It's going to look really pretty. There we go. I'll bet you Lehigh doesn't do any cool things like Charcuterie 101. Those engineers or mountain hawks or whatever they're calling themselves these days. Once apart, always apart. Okay, here we go. You could straighten it out however you want, but we've got a chorizo river. Look at that. Easy. I'm just going to make sure that you can see. Yeah. You know what? I'm going to move the camera. Pardon me, everybody. Just a little bit so you can really see what's going on. Okay, I think that's good. Great. So our chorizo river, that was easy, right? So we snaked it around our ramekins. The next thing we're going to do, and this is the most laborious part, but it's really easy, guys. Don't be intimidated. We're going to build, we're going to make little Serrano ham triangles. So I'm going to take our ham out of the package, just like this, okay? And then I'm going to show you how to fold it right over on the board. So you take out a piece, right? And sometimes there will be a natural break in the salami, sometimes not, but what you're going to do is fold it in half. Your pieces might be bigger or smaller than ours. Our goal here is to make it a square, like so, and then just fold it over, fold that square over into a triangle. Okay, just like that. You guys see that okay? And then once you have a triangle, we're gonna start placing it right around the top, the ramekin on the top, which I don't think you can see that well. There we go. Well, maybe I'll just move it. I'll move the ramekin. That will make things easier, wouldn't it? Okay, so let's do our folding again. So easy. Some people get really into doing like prosciutto rosettes and things like that. That's really fun. Takes a little while to learn. But for tonight's purposes, we're just making easy little triangles, just like that. And placing around our ramekin. You're going to keep going with this until we've surrounded our ramekin with serrano. Now, I was an English major, not an art major, but I did take a few nice art classes at Lafayette, Art in the Dark. We used to call one of them, which was really great art history class. I wonder if they'll do an actual charcuterie class in Lafayette. If we could get our degree in charcuterie, wouldn't that be cool? Here we go, folding it, kind of making it a square, then making it into a nice little triangle. And do this with as much meat as you like. And again, don't freak out if you have so much left over, because people are going to start grabbing these and you'll have it at the ready to replenish. And where is my towel for my greasy hands? So I hope you guys can see that well. We got our chorizo river and our, I don't know, serrano sun. You know, it kind of looks like a sun with the rays sticking out. Okay, our third meat, we're going to wait till later because it goes into a ramekin. So the co-star, it's time for our manchego cheese. And one of the rules of building a charcuterie board is that you want to put things that are eaten, together or meant to be together, should be together on the board. So here we have, this is going to be for honey, and honey and cheese pair really well. So we're going to put them, we're going to just put these triangles of manchego cheese all around our lovely ramekin where we're going to have our honey. And just arrange it, you know, however is pleasing to you. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be Michelangelo. I'm just going to do something like this. There we go. Whatever you want to do with it. It smells so good in here already. And I'm not cooking. So here you go. Let's see if we want to just layer a couple of others around here. All right, so we've set out our cheese. We've got our chorizo river. We've got our serrano ham sun. Okay, so what's next? We're going to place our Sharpies. Our first Sharpie, our peppers. Remember these peppers that I showed you? Now, you want to drain these, okay? Because you don't want them dripping all over the board. So open your jar, drain them, Maybe dab them with a paper towel if you want. I've already done this previously. So if you want to do that again, they're easy just to place directly on the board. They're not a ramekin kind of a thing. So we're gonna place some of this here. Good, beautiful color that they add to the board. These also have a great aroma, these beautiful Basque peppers. They almost remind me of banana peppers, if you ever had those. And then, you know, in the interest of symmetry, I'm gonna put some over here on this corner. Just gonna make sure you can see. Yeah, I'm gonna put some here on this corner as well. And again, do what makes you happy. Put some more there, some more here. All right, so we're done with our first sharp element on the board. Okay, now we're gonna fill in the blanks with our almonds. Almonds first. This is fun. You're just gonna go wild here. Just start filling it in. Anywhere there's a blank space, it's nice to fill them in. Oop. Think of these as the stones of your architecture, your river stones, if you will. I'll put some over here. Just fill in. Never have too many Marcona almonds, if you ask me. Fill in the blanks, fill in the blanks, fill in the blanks. Isn't this easy? It's also so beautiful as well. It's very soothing, actually. No wonder we all started making these during pandemic. Okay. All right. Filled in some blanks with our Marcona almonds. Next, our other crunchies, our little baby baguettes, these picos. I love these so much. Look at them. Look how cute they are. And they're so crunchy and fun. So we're gonna take some of these and just fill in the other blanks. And you know what? Remember before what I said about having the things that go together. We're gonna have our spreadable salami in this ramekin. So these are the great things to dip in them. So you're gonna want them right there. You don't wanna have to keep reaching across. You want them right there, easy access. So just fill in the blanks with your picos around the ramekin that will hold your sobrasada spreadable sausage. This is really, look how fast this is coming together already. And I've got picos to spare, but that's fine because they're gonna go fast. Who's coming over to help us eat this? We're at 132 Mulberry Street in Manhattan, by the way. That's where Chef's Dinner Table is. So come on down, ring the bell and help us eat this magnificent snack board. Okay, here we go. All right, so we've filled in the blanks. We've made our chorizo river. We've put down our cheese. We have added our sharp peppers. The next thing is to fill in our ramekins. So here's our other Sharpie, these big fat olives. If they're in a jar, again, drain them because I don't know, it's just easier to go for when they don't have all the liquid around them. So I've drained mine and now I'm just gonna put them right into this ramekin right here. I love these olives. Boom, how easy is that? Okay, now we have our honey that goes into the ramekin. And instead of messing up my honey stick already, I'm just gonna take one of these baby spoons and just scoop it in there like this. What I like about this Valencian honey is that it's kind of thick and creamy, as you can see. It's not really a super drippy honey, and it's so good. Just scoop it in. Scoop it in like that. You want to give it, like, smooth it out a little if you want. And that's your honey. Our last ramekin is going to have this spreadable sausage, the sobrasada. And this part is really fun. So what I'm gonna do is take my sharp knife and try and talk and cut, but I'm just gonna cut off the bottom like that, right on the package. Ooh. I'm gonna cut off the bottom, right like that, okay? So just cut off the bottom right through the package with a very sharp knife. This one's not sharp enough. I should have sharpened my knives before this. Now you can take this paper thing off too. Okay. I should have taken this off before. I thought I was prepared. Okay. Yeah. Not every packaging is going to be the same. But I'm just going to take this right off like this. Okay, this is good enough. So what I'm going to do is you're going to squeeze it like a tube of toothpaste from the top, okay? So watch as I do this. From the top, it's going to come right out of the casing. Right out of the casing. Right into your ramekin. You could guide it. Have your towel nearby. Always a good idea. Okay, here we go. Squeeze it right out of the casing. This is why they say making sausage is a messy business. But at least it's delicious. So you just squeeze it right in there. Give your hands a wipe. I mean, they're probably nice and greasy right now. And so what I'm gonna do now is just put my little implements. I have my honey stick. I'm gonna put it right where the honey goes. I'm going to take my spreader and kind of smooth this out, make it look a little nicer. Have that there, ready to go. I'm gonna put my tongs nearby at the ready. My olives have pits, so I'm gonna put that nearby. Can you see the olives? There we go. Yeah, I'm gonna put this nearby. And then what do I do with this toothpick pig? I think it looks good over here. Hanging out by the river, getting a nice drink of sausage. Yeah. Okay, final step for building. We're going to garnish. This basil smells so good. I found these big fat leaves today and I thought they would be perfect. So you know what? Just put them in any corner that you want. Just add a little bit of color and freshness. decorate, make it look pretty, change things up a little bit, give a break in the color scheme here, and add some aroma. It's nice to have like a fresh aroma against all these kind of strong smells of sausage. There we go, garnish, garnish, garnish. Make everything look beautiful. All right, look at that. We've built a board. How amazing does yours look? I want to see. Now is the time when you take your camera and you take a photo and you Instagram it and tag me at K Squires NYC. Tag Lafayette. Take a picture of this beauty. Oh, guess what? One thing I forgot. Wine pairings. You gotta have some nice wine to go with this beautiful charcuterie board, right? I've chosen what my husband and I call our house wine. It's Marqués de Riscal Rioja. It's a nice, beautiful, drinkable red wine with not too much body, but a nice big oomph. So I'm gonna pair this. Oh, by the way, just in case you saw, I have this on the side so that if you wanted to build mini sandwiches, you can too, or not. There's plenty going on here. So what I'm gonna do now, of course, is pour a glass of wine for Lisa. Thank you, Lisa. I'm gonna pour a glass of wine for me. I hope you all have your wine open. By the way, my husband, the non-pard, but we like him anyway. He loves having rosé with a charcuterie board. And he says because he feels like he wants a lighter bodied wine to go with all of these strong flavors. And I respect that. I think that's great. He's a brosé, and that's fine. That you can, you know what, drink whatever you want, but say go Pards, go Pards. So now we're gonna just quickly go over the rules again and just take a step back and look at what we've done here. So first things first, with a charcuterie board, pick a theme, right? I picked this Spanish meat lovers board, but you could do anything you want. You can do an Italian board, you can do a vegan board, you can do just simply a cheese board. But it's great to pick a theme. And in my Wall Street Journal story that came out a few weeks ago, actually, nice little cover story to the section. One of the other boards that I made was a vegan charcuterie board. Oop, can you see that? And this board, I sourced, veganessentials.com. If you're a vegan or a vegetarian, this is a very good website to source different really good quality vegan products. So what I did here is I added a mushroom jerky. How interesting is that? We have mushroom jerky going on. This is cashew cheese. It's like a brie and it's crusted with herbs. Beautiful. I mean, if you're not eating dairy, this is the next closest thing, honestly. What's next to it? Hibiscus marmalade. Such a great counterpoint to this creamy cheese. We also have hummus, everybody's favorite dipper, right? We garnished one with pomegranate seeds and the other with toasted chickpeas and a little paprika. Delicious. Remember how I said that things that should be eaten together should go next to each other? Pita. Pita right there. And then what would a vegan board be without a beautiful array of fresh vegetables? I put in some cauliflower, some pea pods, some watermelon radish for color, which really pop on the board. And then dried fruits. Dried fruits are awesome on a board. These are raisins on the vine. They're very elegant. And then you have your crunchies, you have your crackers and everything going on. So these are some suggestions for building a vegan board, if you would wish. Then another board I did for this story is what I call a global board. And this was a little challenging because you don't want flavors to be, weird with each other or incongruent, but I really thought about how internationally to build a board of different things that would go together well. So we started with, this is called fig salami, quote unquote. It is not meat. It's made of figs and it's delicious and it's a little sweet and they add some spices in there. So I thought that would be a great centerpiece for this international board. It's from Greece. This is dragon fruit, beautiful Asian fruit that again makes the board pop. We have some Spanish tinned fish, which are actually have a little bit of a pickly flavor to them. So that's your sharpness. And then we have this pickled okra. We've got your nice crunchy crackers here, sweet nougat, nice texture. This is spreadable pimento cheese from Tennessee, from Blackberry Farm, if anybody's ever heard of it. Great product. And then this is my favorite. I just recently learned about this snack, Indian snack called Charcuterie. So delicious. Basically, it's chickpea flour fried in butter. Oh my God, crunchy, delicious, great on any board. So those are just examples of other kinds of boards that you can make. So we've picked a theme, right? The next thing in terms of the rules of a board is choose your ingredients. You want variety, you want a color balance, and then you just want to make sure that everything pairs with each other, everything tastes well together. So choosing your ingredients. How to choose your ingredients? It's really fun to become inspired for these boards. What do I do to get inspired? I love browsing specialty markets. So I'll go to a specialty market and look at everything that's available and think, what goes well with what? Seasonal, think of seasons. What ingredients of the season do you want to show off? And it's a great way to try new things. Another kind of rule on the charcuterie board is you want to make sure that things are easily grabbable, that you can just kind of spear a chorizo or spear an olive or just take something with your tongs. Don't include anything that you have to cut through or saw through. It's just not meant, it's meant to be a practical, easy thing to eat. So just make sure that things are grabbable. Keep symmetry in mind when you're making these boards. The art thing. Some people like to work in the rule of thirds of photography. I'm not that fancy, but do what is pleasing to the eye. Very important though, keep it simple. Don't use too many ingredients. You don't need 20 different things. That'll get expensive and laborious. Just keep it simple and think that however many people you're building it for to eat, 2 to 3 ounces per ingredient should be fine. And again, don't panic if you have too much. You're always going to be refreshing it. What not to use on a charcuterie board? Anything that's perishable, okay? No like stinky fish, nothing that's going to melt. So just make sure that everything that is on the board can stay out for quite some time. That's why cheese is great. That's why these nice cured salamis are great. That's why vegetables are great. So another tip is I like to take out my meat and cheese an hour beforehand so that everything tastes better at room temperature, especially with snacks. So you don't want them to be too cold. So have them out, they get to room temperature, and then you place them on the board. So finally, we're just gonna step back and review what we've done. We've chosen an appropriate board, the wood board. We rearranged our ramekins on them first, empty. Thought about the arrangement a bit. Then we laid out our star of the show, our chorizo river, kind of in the center of the board so the eye can go there. Then our Serrano ham, our other star. Then our co-star, the manchego cheese, and we put it around the ramekin where we're going to use the honey. Next, the counterpoints, our pickled peppers. And then we started to fill in the blanks. We tossed in our Marcona almonds. We put down our picos. Then we filled our ramekins up. We added our honey. We added our olives. We added our nice spreadable sausage. Then garnish. A few basil leaves here, a few basil leaves there, add some color. We had our little extras here, our little lucky pig, our little olive pits things. And yeah, there you go. That's all. So yeah, don't forget the wine. Don't forget to take a photo and share it and tag me, K Squires NYC. Post it to Instagram, but also don't forget to eat it. That's what this is meant for. This is supposed to be eaten. It's lovely to regard, but you're supposed to eat it. Now, Janine's going to share some links with you if you wanted to do this again, or if you wanted to easily follow a vegan board or the global board that I built for the Wall Street Journal. The links are what they call tappable. You can follow the link on your phone, on your iPad, even on your computer. And again, it'll be kind of a step-by-step building. It'll show you each step. Another great resource is there's an Instagram called That Cheese Plate, and a book that this woman, Marissa Mullen, has written called That Cheese Plate Will Change Your Life. She has this method called cheese by numbers, which really works really well for, it's not just cheese, for any kind of board that you want to build. And there's a lot of ideas in there. And if you look at her Instagram, it's just beautiful. And again, an inspiration. So yeah, it's really quite the pastime. So now I'm going to take some questions and turn on my other video, and hope to see some nice familiar faces. I'm back, and I'll enjoy my wine too. How about that? Who has questions?
If anyone has questions, you can drop in the chat. Let's see. Richard Locke would like to know, what is your opinion about dessert boards?
I think dessert boards can be really super fun, especially if you're using a lot of fruit, harder chocolates. But again, also keep in mind, nothing that's going to melt. So, no kind of really soft chocolates or, obviously ice cream, but you can do something like Nutella could be a wonderful spreadable. You can have kind of for dippers like this, you can find like kind of a sweet little dipper. I think they're super fun. I think it's a great idea. Charcuterie boards, snack boards, they're all the rage at weddings now. And I've seen them have different themes. I've seen them just for desserts. It's a fun way to play with fruit as well.
Gigi Miller, class of 82. I was surprised that there was only one cheese on the list. It worked wonderfully, but could you elaborate on the rationale?
Well, because this was a meat lovers plate, I really wanted to highlight the Spanish meats. But yeah, you can use as many cheeses as you want. Again, it's all in the matter of being creative. And sometimes people do just cheese boards. And here's something actually that I wanted to mention. If you're going to do just simply a cheese board, if you wanted cheese to be the highlight, add variety to your cheeses. You should have, don't just have all cow cheeses. Don't have just all goat cheese. Have a cow, have a goat, have a sheep, and vary the texture too. You want a soft one like a brie. You'll want a harder cheese, maybe like a Parmesan Reggiano, nice chunk of cheese, something semi-soft. So you can vary the cheese, but yeah, I just chose one cheese because I wanted to highlight the meat, and again, not get too complicated with too many ingredients. But yeah, go for it. Add as many cheeses as you want.
Does anyone else have any questions? Let's see, you're getting a lot of thank you. This was awesome. Hope to join you in your kitchen soon.
Yes, please do. Oh, I don't know if you guys saw, I had a little marquee set up for you guys.
Ah, very
Welcome.
nice.
Kind of probably reads backwards on the camera. I don't know how to
No,
do that, but
it comes
anyway,
across fine.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
great. So you're
Oh.
all welcome to Chef's Dinner Table anytime. We're at chefsdinnertablenyc.com. I believe that Janine's also going to share that information as well as my email address. I'm Kathleen@ksquires.com. Drop me a line. I'm always happy to hear from pards. You can follow me on Instagram at ksquiresnyc, and you can follow Chef's Dinner Table at Chef's Dinner Table NYC.
Yes, we
Oh,
will be providing all of these links and addresses in an email tomorrow. I do have another question from Richard Locke.
Yep.
What type of events do you have at your place?
Wow. So we do small weddings, we do media events, we do product launches. I run actually a literary salon here, which is amazing. We started almost a year ago during pandemic. As a writer, I find it to be sometimes a very lonely profession, especially during pandemic. So it was just a way to get all my writer friends out of their homes and back to sharing their work. We have even people who rent the kitchen just to bake their Christmas cookies. And hey, pard parties, any private dinner of any kind is welcome here. We seat 26 comfortably, and we could do 40 standing comfortably, but we're open to anything.
Great.
Thanks for the question.
Anyone else have any other questions?
Well, thank you guys. And I want to give a big thanks to Lisa, who was really such a great assistant. She was the cute. Right on, Lisa, right on. Thank you again, everybody, for joining me. So happy to be doing this. And again, I hope to see you on the Hill at Reunion.
Yes, please. Reunion, by the way, reunion registration closes May 1st. So make sure you get your registrations in there so you all can see each other back on campus.
Great. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Janine.
Sure thing. Well, if there are no more questions, again, thank you all for joining us this evening. We will be following up with an email with all the links that Kathy mentioned, as well as the addresses. But if you have any questions in the meantime, feel free to email me. And again, Kathleen and Lisa, thank you so much for taking the time for sharing your expertise and letting us get a peek inside your lovely venue. So looking forward to connecting again soon. Also, please know that this was recorded and we will have it available on our website, which we will also send you a link to. Alrighty. Have a good
Perfect.
evening, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.